Feeding your baby a balanced diet from 6 months is very important. Your baby is a human being. There's the nutrients that they should eat. The only difference is that they eat small amounts just to bridge the gap that is brought about by milk, breast milk. So when your baby starts to eat, they should eat small amounts, maybe 1 or 2 meals a day, but the milk remains the main food. What we are trying to aim for in giving our babies food is to try and bridge the gap, which means energy, because breast milk does not give enough energy for the baby, so we need to give them foods high in energy, which are basically carbohydrates and starches. We need to give them food rich in iron, which is like animal meats and legumes and green leafy vegetables. We need to give them foods rich in vitamin A, which we get from the colors of the rainbow. You give your baby colored vegetables, they're gonna be good. So today we're going to prepare a meal that tends to cover all this balance we are talking about. So today we're going to prepare one of my favorites. So one of my children loved this meal. And we're going to have our starch from potato, which is what most of us like. At least now I'm trying to come back to the foods that people like. So potatoes, we've got some potatoes. We've got some vegetables. And my vegetables for today are a courgette, zucchini, depending on which part of the world you come from. We've got a tomato, we've got onion, and we've got a carrot. We also have our protein of the day, which is basically chicken liver. The darker the meat, the more the iron. And as we've seen that babies need lots of iron in their diet, so we're going to get the iron from the chicken liver. So chicken liver is nice, it's coming from a white meat, easy to digest, easy for baby to eat. Try and save it for the baby. You see, it's a big piece and the baby just needs a small piece. I have pre-boiled mine, so we'll just prepare this meal for our baby. So I'll start off with the onion, as always. My trusty grater. And grate our onion. It's nice. Just to get everything nice and tasty. So remember, you just put a small amount because baby's food is not much. But if you're cooking for the rest of the family, you can add if you're cooking the same meal. And I'm just going to put that on my pan. I am going to get a different chopping board for the meat. I tend to advise you to have different chopping boards. Have different chopping boards for meats especially, because as you know, meat sometimes carries some parasites, so you don't want to mix that. Encourage you to maybe get even a red chopping board that's for meats, so that even for the rest of the family you're not mixing up, so that in case the meat has got any parasites, there's not that transference. So I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use a different knife for the meat, though it's pre-boiled, but it's a good practice for us to have. And so I'm going to chop that up. I have pre-boiled it, so it's already cooked. It's just ready to mix. Why I like liver so much, especially chicken liver, is you can easily mash it. You just need to chop it up into very small pieces like that. And so we are going to fry that. One time I met a baby who had a very big tapeworm, and the tapeworm had overtaken the tummy, and the tummy was so big. So I'm very vigilant about meats and not trying to mix, and making sure that the meat is well cooked before you give your baby. All right, so we are going to now start this meal off, and we'll continue to prepare the rest of the ingredients as the meat cooks. And so I have my onion there. Today I'm going to use coconut oil. I encourage you to use different kinds of oils, healthy oils that your baby can eat. Remember, different oils offer different benefits to the body. Coconut oil it's a good oil, it's easy to digest, it flavors the baby's food because you know that coconut rich flavor, but at the same time, you know, it's a different taste, it's a different flavor, and help your baby to be able to absorb the vitamin A. Remember, vitamin A is what we call an oil-soluble vitamin. So for the body to digest it, it needs some oil. So we're going to add that oil in our sophoria or pan, a saucepan. Yeah, very nice. So you can use different oils for different. You don't have to cook with one oil every time. I'm not a big fan of olive oil because olive oil has a very low melting point. So for frying food, I usually recommend you use other oils like coconut or sunflower or vegetable oil. And then you can leave olive oil for salads or for foods that you don't need to cook for long. So we're going to just allow the onion to just brown a little. In this particular one, I'm going to add some spice. I've got some turmeric just to improve the color. Remember, turmeric also has great micronutrients. It's great for helping the body balance out the mucus. So it's a good spice, and of course, it's very flavorful and just gives the food that rich yellow color that we enjoy. And voila, I'm gonna take the meat, the chicken liver that I have chopped. I'm just going to add it there. Just basically allow it to cook. And this is a meal you can give your baby from 6 months. I'm gonna just add a bit of stock. Just to allow it to simmer. And it simmers down. Just going to reduce the fire. Remember, the chicken was already pre-boiled, so it's just to that. I'm gonna put that aside. I'll come back to my vegetable. And so for the courgette or the zucchini, I'm going to do the same thing. Grate it. Because we're not going to blend baby's food, we're just going to mash it. So making sure that all the ingredients are nice and easy. And I tend for the zucchini or the courgette, I tend to use the rough side because it tends to be finer. And so I'm going to just do that. And remember, 50% of your baby's meal should come from a starch. So we are not going to put too much vegetables so that we don't give the food too much vegetables. So just enough. So that's good. You can see it's nicely grated. It's a good consistency. And as I continue with that, I'm going to can and add my potatoes. So I've chopped them up into smaller pieces just to allow them to cook a bit faster. And I'm going to add them into my meal. So I'm preparing this meal for other members of the family too. That's why it's a bit. But if you're just doing for the baby, you don't need as much potato. You can just cook a little, and I'll add a bit more of the stock. And I can increase the fire a little to allow it to cook. Yeah, that looks really good. Starting to, you know, that nice liver smell. Really nice. And I'm going to take a different part and I'm going to grate the carrot. Now, I am usually very careful with carrots because for some babies, carrots can cause constipation. So it's important to give your baby, but if you find your baby starting to get constipated, especially in the early months, 6-7 months, then maybe withdraw carrot for a bit and see if that improves their poop. But if they're fine with it, they're okay, why not? Carrots is a rich source of vitamin A, and remember, we're always looking for vitamin A. I keep mentioning all these things that your baby needs because it's important to give them in their diet. So we'll give her just a little bit of carrot. really great. Yeah. There we go. Just a little enough. And I'm just going to also grate my tomato, which I'm going to add into our mixture. Just a little for flavor, not too much, just enough. Yeah. There are vegetables. So remember, we put vegetables towards the end because you don't want to overcook the vegetables. That's why we are breaking them down like this, so that they'll be cooked in a way that your baby is able to eat without destroying the nutrients by overcooking. So now we want to see if our potato is at least soft. So you want to cook your meal and making sure that the potato has a bit softened before you add the vegetable. So I'm just going to use a fork, and yes, I can see it's kind of almost there, not quite, but almost. So now this is a good time to add my vegetables. So, and I'm just gonna add all of them together because they have the same cooking time. And just mix that up. Very nice. So it's almost like you're making a kitoweo, as we call it in Swahili, or gitoero from where I come from. So very nice. You can smell the coconut and the other spices that we've done. So the food smells really great. And I'm just going to cover it to just give it just a few minutes to simmer and allow the vegetables to cook. And then we'll be ready to continue mashing it for our little one. I'll just have the plate ready with my trusty fork. So I'll come back and see how this is doing. So just allow the vegetables to just cook for a short time so that we maintain, all the nutrients. So remember, you don't cook it for long, just to allow the vegetables to eat. You want to maintain the goodness in the meal. And yes, oh, it smells really good. So you see, it's a stew that you can eat other food with, but for a baby, this is actually a complete meal. And so I'll come and I'll just serve my baby. And I'll take my trusty fork. Just mash that up. The beauty of chicken liver, it's very easy to mash, so it mashes right up just like a potato. So baby can eat it very well. So if your baby is older, you would use a masher to mash the food. For the baby who is 6-7 months, you can use a fork. For the older child, you can just break it up like that, and that's good enough. For a baby who is maybe 10 months, they're able to eat bigger chunks. But for this one, we'll just prepare for that who's just learning how to eat and can handle small chunks. So there we go. So really, really making it fine, but still maintaining the lumps that will trigger your baby chewing reflex. Chewing is practiced. You have to allow your baby to learn how to chew and to practice it. And as they practice, you notice that after a while your baby just starts swallowing the food. That's when you know that you need to move on to bigger lumps. So if you are mashing with a fork, you start mashing with a masher or a mwiko or a mashing spoon. If they start just swallowing that mashed with a masher, then you now just start cutting up into small pieces. And by 1 year, most babies can eat food in small pieces. So as I always mention, chewing is important to help your baby learn how to speak. So let's teach our babies how to chew. So there we go, really nice. So I'm going to just check the consistency. It's a bit too thick because it's not dropping so well. So I'll just add a bit of my sauce over here, just a bit. Remember, we don't add milk in baby's food. Milk is, when taken together with a food rich in iron, it will interfere with absorption of iron. And remember, we've got chicken liver here. That's a great source of iron. So we don't want to interfere with the absorption of that. So we don't add milk, we just add stock. Yeah, and I think we're good. So I'll serve my baby on my baby plate. Put that back there and cover it. I'm gonna have some rice with that. Tastes really nice. Now come here, I'm gonna check my baby's food. So you can see it's dropping from the plate. It's not pouring, it's not too light, so it's dropping from the spoon. And as always, we're gonna taste it. We're gonna taste it. Very nice. I can taste, I can taste the courgette, I can taste the coconut oil from far, some turmeric, as your baby goes on, you can add a pinch of salt to give baby iodine, but mostly all the flavors of the vegetables have really made the food flavorful. So your baby can enjoy it and you can have a balanced diet. So there you go, potato and a little liver for your little one. I am here for you. So if you've got any question, any query, any challenge, anything that you're going through and you just need another voice to take you through it, get in touch with me. You can DM me, you can write me a text, you can, WhatsApp me, but you know what, better yet, take a video, a short video, WhatsApp it to me, and the next show might just be about you.